Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. If you've ever sat there and wondered, how is managing an AI product actually any different from shipping, standard software? Well, we are jumping right into exactly that today. We're going to explore the core distinctions, the unique mindset, and the wildly complex cross-functional ecosystem that truly defines the role of an AI product manager.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap. 1. The AI PM distinction. 2. Core rules and responsibilities. 3. Managing probabilistic uncertainty. 4. Defining and measuring success. 5. The cross-functional AI ecosystem. And finally, 6. The elite AI mindset.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI PM distinction, a true paradigm shift. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the absolute core difference between the software we're all used to and AI. Traditional software is deterministic. It follows fixed rules. Think of a standard calculator, right? Every single time you type in 2 plus 2, it is reliably 100% of the time going to give you 4. It is totally predictable. AI systems, they don't do that. They learn from data instead of following hard-coded rules, which means their outputs are probabilistic. A large language model could give you an entirely different response to the exact same prompt based on a temperature setting, the context window, or just a recent background update. Because of this, your traditional quality assurance processes, they completely break down. AI can improve over time, sure, but it can also degrade or just completely hallucinate unexpected responses, which introduces some massive privacy and regulatory headaches.
So how do these roles actually diverge in the real world? Well, a traditional PM builds that deterministic software. They write standard product requirements, and they are heavily focused on feature delivery with their engineering and design teams. Success is usually just feature adoption. You find a bug, you reproduce it, you fix it, and deployment is kind of this one-time event. But the AI PM, it's a whole different ballgame. You are building probabilistic systems. You aren't just defining product requirements anymore. You have to define the product, the data, and the model requirements. You're hyper-focused on user outcomes, working with machine learning engineers, data scientists, legal teams, and MLOps. Failures in AI can be totally inconsistent or heavily tied to weird data edge cases, which means deployment isn't the finish line. It's just the start of continuous, nonstop monitoring and iteration.
All right, moving into Section 2, core roles and responsibilities, the AI PM toolkit. As an AI product manager, you are essentially operating right at the intersection of 5 completely distinct worlds. You've got the business side, deeply understanding market needs and revenue goals. Then there's technology. You really need to grasp what AI can do and honestly, what it absolutely cannot do. Then data, ensuring your inputs are high quality and unbiased. Next is user experience, because you have to literally design for user trust. And finally, governance and compliance, keeping everything secure and strictly regulated. The AI PM sits directly in the center of all of that. Now, here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. No one expects you to actually code and build the foundation models yourself. But you absolutely must be able to make highly informed, strategic decisions across all 5 of these domains simultaneously. And because you're sitting at that center point, your biggest superpower is being a translator. Just picture a typical Tuesday morning meeting. Your business stakeholder leans across the table and says, "Hey, can we just automate all of our customer support?" But right away, your ML engineer jumps in with, "Well, the model accuracy is at 85%, but it really struggles with weird edge cases." Then your legal team instantly flags, "Wait, we have to ensure total compliance with privacy regulations." And finally, your UX designer chimes in, "Guys, users are going to need some sort of confidence indicator for these AI-generated answers." As the AI PM, your job is to brilliantly synthesize all of these completely valid but totally conflicting perspectives into one cohesive product strategy. You have to speak everyone's language. And speaking of language, we really need to rewire how we talk about data. Traditional PMs tend to look at data as just an input. But as an AI PM, you have to treat data as a strategic product asset. Actually, scratch that, it is the strategic asset. This is a massive shift. Your daily life now involves defining strict data requirements, constantly hunting for anomalies, prioritizing what gets annotated first, and obsessively monitoring for data drift. That's when the real-world data your users are generating starts shifting away from the data your model was initially trained on. Why does this matter so much? Because poor data is going to cause you vastly more problems than a poor algorithm ever will. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, managing probabilistic uncertainty by embracing the unknown. So managing uncertainty essentially means making really hard choices every single day. Let's look at some of these trade-offs, because this is your new reality. Do you want to use a massive state-of-the-art model? Well, the benefit is amazing quality, but the trade-off is huge API costs and annoying latency. What if you go with a smaller model? It's super fast, it's way cheaper, but you take a hit on accuracy. If you push for maximum automation, you get incredible efficiency, but the risk of errors skyrockets. If you throw humans in the loop for review, your reliability goes way up, but your workflow's slow to a crawl. And what about frequent retraining? It keeps the model fresh, but operational complexity goes through the roof. An elite AI PM has to navigate this maze by setting clear user expectations, building in graceful fallbacks, and handling the unknown like a pro. Knowing those trade-offs is great, but avoiding the common landmines is absolutely critical. Let's fire through some of the biggest mistakes AI PMs make. Number 1, obsessing over the model itself. Look, improving accuracy by a fraction of a percent doesn't automatically mean a better customer experience. Number 2, ignoring data quality. I'll say again, even the absolute best models on Earth perform terribly if you feed them garbage data. Number 3, overpromising what the AI can actually do. There is no faster way to destroy user trust. Number 4, treating deployment like it's set and forget, completely neglecting continuous monitoring. These systems degrade folks. And finally, number 5, treating AI like it's literal magic. It's not. It's a powerful tool with very real limitations, not a universal magic wand that magically solves everything.
Let's jump to Section 4, defining and measuring success, metrics that matter. When you're dealing with AI, success is multidimensional. You can't just look at one dashboard. You have to evaluate 3 distinct categories all at the exact same time. First, you've got your model metrics. This is your accuracy, precision, recall, F1 scores, and importantly, tracking how often the model hallucinates or throws an error. Second, your product metrics, things like customer satisfaction, task completion rates, retention, and bottom line revenue. And third, operational health metrics. How high is the latency? What's the cost per inference? Are we detecting model drift? What's our uptime? An elite AI PM is constantly balancing all 3 of these pillars because, again, high accuracy on a spreadsheet does not guarantee a successful product in the real world.
So here is a question you should be asking yourself constantly. Does improving a model's accuracy by, let's say, 2% actually meaningfully improve the user's experience? Or would reducing the response latency by half a second have a much bigger impact on the business? Is the massive cost of running that larger model really justified by that tiny bump in accuracy? This is the fundamental difference between model thinking and product thinking. A perfect model is never the ultimate goal. Building the best product is. Moving on to Section 5, the cross-functional AI ecosystem. As we touched on earlier, bringing an AI product to life requires a much bigger village than standard software. Who are the key players? Well, you're working with ML engineers who are actually building and deploying the models. You got data scientists running complex experiments and analyzing the inputs. You absolutely need MLOps engineers to keep the deployment pipelines running smoothly and monitor the models in production. UX designers are there to figure out how to design interfaces that build user trust. Legal and compliance teams are your best friends for navigating the minefield of privacy and AI governance. And, of course, the executives, who need you to tie all of this back to the big picture company strategy. As the AI PM, you are the central node. You are the conductor of this incredibly complex orchestra. Let's make this totally concrete. Imagine for a second that you are building a brand new AI coding assistant. What does your actual week look like? Well, step 1, you're deep in the weeds understanding exactly what pain points developers have. Step 2, you're selecting the right foundation model and establishing strict latency limits so the code generates fast enough while they type. Step 3, you're obsessively monitoring how often users actually accept the AI's code suggestions and hunting for any hallucinations. Step 4, you're in a meeting with the legal team figuring out the nightmare of code licensing, all while keeping an eye on your spiraling API costs. You are constantly juggling engineering, design, and marketing. Notice how in this real-world scenario, success relies on way more than just how smart the underlying model is. And this dynamic brilliantly illustrates how the absolute biggest tech giants operate. Just look at Netflix. Their AI PMs aren't just sitting in a room blindly tweaking recommendation algorithms all day. They're optimizing the entire viewing ecosystem, balancing extreme personalization with diverse content, keeping latency low, and driving user retention. Over at Spotify, AI PMs are orchestrating recommendation models right alongside playlist generation, dealing with music licensing and driving engagement. The team behind GitHub Copilot, they have to perfectly balance raw code quality with developer trust, massive security requirements, and crazy API costs. They optimize the whole shebang, not just the core algorithm. And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, the elite AI mindset and operating framework. Let's pull all of this together into an ultimate AI mastery checklist. Having gone through this explainer, you should now easily be able to explain how an AI PM differs from a traditional software PM. You know their unique responsibilities, like treating data as a product. You know exactly how to collaborate with specialized AI teams. You understand the delicate art of balancing business goals with technical constraints while living in a world of probabilistic uncertainty. You know how to define success across business, product, and operational metrics. You can spot the common pitfalls from a mile away. And most importantly, you have internalized the elite AI mindset. Always focus on the actual value delivered to the customer rather than just getting distracted by the sheer sophistication of the model. I want to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought. At the end of a sprint, a traditional PM asks a pretty simple question: did we ship the feature? But an elite AI PM has to ask something much deeper. Did this AI system create measurable value for our users and the business while remaining reliable, trustworthy, cost-effective, and secure? That profound shift, moving from just shipping static software to managing a living, breathing, evolving AI ecosystem, is exactly what separates the traditional PMs from the elite AI product managers. I really hope this explainer has equipped you with the exact tools and the mindset you need to take on that responsibility. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll see you all next time.